what's good? We back. We back. It's been a little minute, but we back though. So I got a little sample breakdown for y'all. I made this a while back, a couple months back actually, and it's called See It Through. And this is one of the first R&B kind of soulful samples that I actually tried to make. I think I did a pretty good job with the sound selection, layering and processing vocals, and just the general mix. So I want to kind of like cover how basically sound selection is 90% of, making a good sample and a good beat in general. You got to have the right sounds. So I want to focus on that. General mixing and leveling and balancing and panning elements out the way, or to have a little different texture and ambiance playing here. All of that. I want to break down all of that. So stay tuned. I got some good gems in here, good tips, good tricks. And yeah, we're going to just break down how I got everything arranged and organized and layered. And you'll be able to make better samples from it. All right, let's get into it. All right, so for these type of samples, you want to kind of lean towards sounds that fit into the live, acoustic, real kind of like vibe. You know what I mean? Like those type of instruments. So we're talking about pianos, any type of strings, guitar, harps, all of those type of sounds. You want to more so lean towards live. Now, that's if you're going more soulful in a sense, right? But for just R&B sounds and melodic type of sounds anyway, what tends to work is also electric sounds. So that's your electric pianos, your Rhodes, stuff like that, right? Or you could even bring in your synths. Now, typically when we talk about synths, we're not leaning towards like your serum style synths, like your digital synths, right? We're more so leaning towards analog style synths, things that are, they have more of a vintage type of feel to them. So we're going to actually talk about the first sound I have here, which will tie everything in together, right? So let's just talk about this sound here. Yeah, wavy. For that sound specifically, what are the things that you notice? One, it's full, it's wide, has some warmth to it. There's a lot of different texture and a lot of different things moving in that. So that leads me to saying that for the first tip for these type of samples is to find something with a decent amount of sustain, a good long amount of release, something more like along the lines of a pad that feels a lot of space, has a lot of motion, a lot of warmth, and just rhythm to it. Look like a nice like feel to it, more so than anything, just a good feel. And what I tend to do when I find sounds like that is just use it as the basis to build around. Does that mean it's going to be up front when it's done, all said and done, when I'm done making the sample? Nah, usually I put those pads kind of like in the back and have a good filter applied to them. But we'll get into that. So let me just talk about the sound itself, right? I believe it's right here. Okay, so yeah, so this is coming from Analog Tools 4. If you don't know who Max Shooter is, if you don't know who Keon is, Key Major, y'all gotta find out, bro. Y'all gotta find out. All right, their sound banks on Analog Lab go so crazy. The multi keys go crazy. The Analog Tools go crazy. All of them go crazy. So EQ aside, the main thing I want to focus on is this chorus, right? So with my limited knowledge, chorus is essentially just doubling the original audio and putting an LFO on the doubled version or on the second copy of that audio source and messing with the time that it's actually playing back and forth, or just playing back with the original audio, the depth, the voicing, a bit of delay, sometimes even pitch can be modulated. And what that gives you is somewhat more of a full sound out of that original sound. Like it just seems like it adds more width to it. So I'm gonna play it without real quick so you can hear the difference. So that's cool, but it kind of seems more, what's the word I'm looking for? It seems more like upfront, and directly in your face and just one dimensional. Like it seems flat, right? You add the chords back. You see how it's like just more full, right? So again, the main importance here is the sound selection, right? I don't have to do that much because the sound already has good processing on it. It already has good movement, good feel to it. So therefore, when I throw it into the playlist and into a track, I don't have to do anything but EQ out stuff that I don't like, which I did. Where's it at? Yeah, I just EQ'd out some of that high end. I didn't need that much high end into it. And there was like a real sharp sound in there that I wanted to get out of there. That's it. Like I don't have to do any other processing because I picked a good sound to start off with. Now, picking good sounds, again, I mentioned different type of instruments to focus on, but to really fine tune what you're looking for, it takes patience. It takes trusting yourself and your ear and listening to the music that you're trying to replicate, that you're trying to match. Like a lot of times we get caught up being impatient. I know I'm guilty of it. And also we get caught up trying to follow along with, say, a tutorial or something like that. But I can't give you that much sauce for sound selection because it's really your ear. So you have to train your ear by listening to the music that you're trying to make. And that's how you get fire. That's how you understand what sounds work and where they need to be placed. So that's the main thing for sound selection that I wanted to harp to you guys. I wish I could just, you know what I'm saying? I can tell you get the sound banks though. I can tell you that these sound banks go crazy. All of them. You know what I'm saying? Where they at? Analog Lab tools or Analog Tools go crazy. Creator Crate go crazy. The Pedal Tone series go crazy by Keon. The multi keys go crazy. You can find some crazy sounds in there. I should put a counter for like how many times I say crazy. Anyway, you'll find good sounds there. The Desright Bank go crazy. Bro, that's another, bro. Where am I at? Like 10 crazies, I said. Anyway, you get the point. Finding good sounds is literally 90%. Like I said earlier, is 90% of the process. Now, if you may not have necessarily the sounds that fit that well, there's nothing wrong with taking, like I said, a piano or any string instrument and adding your own fruity chorus to it, your flanger, phaser, comb filters, anything that takes the original audio and kind of doubles it and it adds an effect to it. It's going to work for these type of samples. I'm telling you, it's going to work. Trust me. So find sounds that work, have fun throwing them on a track, on a mixer track, and adding your own effects if possible. I also want to get into the mixing. Again, I showed you the EQ, but the main thing I want to talk about is this, the balancing. You know what I'm saying? Turn some stuff down. Okay, you go to these chords. Look how they fit together. You feel me? Turn that one down. You know what I'm saying? But I wanted a little bit more up front. So I added a little extra 3 dB at the end. You know what I'm saying? I did. I could have adjusted in here, but I did it right here. It's cool. So this is more up front. And the reason why these chords work, because they're more on the lo-fi, electric kind of side of things, but they're more static. So like if you listen to this, there's a little bit of tremolo in there. There's a little bit of movement in the chords, but for the most part, it doesn't have all that texture going on. So I could actually, now that I'm looking back at it, I can actually turn this down a little bit and maybe arrange a little different, but that's getting ahead of myself. The main thing is the fact that these two play nicely together in setting foundation for the rhythm and basically the layers, layers that I add later on over here. They do a good job doing that. Again, with the mixing of the piano, I really didn't have to do anything because again, I found a good sound. It's just simple EQ. Take out the lows, take out the highs, so everything bleeds in together perfectly, right? That's really it. All right, so now let's get into the actual meat and potatoes of the sample, right? You see all these different layers of different elements. Let's get into it. I actually think I messed up real quick because I forgot that I had these here, but you get the point. Add that back so that way the effect is right. But you get the point. So real quick, you got your vocal texture right here, and I'll get into the process in that in a second. You got this accent little stab right here, this little accent sound right here. Just like it sounds like a filtered electric guitar that's ran through like maybe a pedal or something. I don't know. It just sounds, you know what I mean? It doesn't sound like a regular guitar. It sounds like it was ran through something, right? Then you got this stab right here. But look how much that is. I don't need all that. And if I used all of that, it's a different vibe. I don't need all that. I just need that one little piece right there. I just needed that. That's it. Same with this. It fits the vibe perfectly, actually, but also blends into pan stuff, bro. Like, I need you to listen to old 60s, 70s soulful vintage songs, bro. Like, I know it sounds crazy, but listen to like how like everything is just positioned in the room. Like, back then, you had to be physically there playing the instruments in. So you had to have a specific mic, whether you was using a ribbon mic set up here where the piano is, the grand piano is, whether you had to use this type of mic over here. And then you had the guitar guy playing over here on the left, over here. Like, all of that mattered back then. And it added to the warmth and the fullness and the character of the sample itself. So try to replicate that when you're panning stuff down, playing around with the pitch of stuff, panning things over. You got that tickling your ear right there to the right. This one's tickling it even more hard right. You got this one pan hard left. When it comes in and stabs there, it just plays nicely together when you play with the panning and the position of everything in the headspace, in the stereo field. That's sauce. Like, people forget about that. You don't have to have everything playing dead center. In fact, I don't recommend you have everything playing dead center, right? So that's important. Okay. Now I'm gonna talk about the processing. So let me go to the vocals. I'm gonna turn all that off, right? Just raw vocals, essentially. Like, it's cool. Don't get me wrong. I like the cassette tape kind of like being worn, or like something's going on with the cassette tape or the playback of the vocals in this little vocal chop. Is cool. I like it, but it's too sharp. It's too harsh. So, I'm a rookie when it comes to dealing with vocals, bro. Like, I'm a rookie, but I do understand that you can de-ess some of those sharp frequencies on the high end out. De-ess that thing, get it out of there. EQ, take the sharp little sounds out, take that out. And then because I wanted the vocals to sit in the mix a certain way and be more ambient, be more of a texture, you know what I'm saying? Throw the reverb on there. Throw a little Valhalla on there. Decent little mix, decent little pre-delay. Cut out the lows and just let it sit in the mix. Make sure the decay time not too long. I don't want it to bleed over too much and take up too much space from the reverb tail. You know what I mean? That's it. When it comes to processing, it's understanding that you're going for a feel where certain things sit in the mix and just have more of a release, more of some type of width to it. And the way it's balanced in the mix is supposed to be ambient. That's how you get these type of sounds or samples that sound this way. So with everything on, make sure I turn that back on. With everything on, got the delay, kind of like a pedal delay from Cymatics Illusion, right? Get that in there, get that thrown in the mix, and what you'll get is, make sure everything's on. Like, it's not that harsh, number one. And you hear that weird like little like dancing of the other vocal that's pitched up an octave, and they're not playing together, they're offset. Like, even that is offset. You know what I'm saying? It adds to the rhythm, to the vibe of everything, bro. Like, all that is super important. But again, you hear that reverb delay. I'm gonna only do that when it's pitched up. It's messing with the pitch, and for the most part it fades out before the next hit, and it's boom, gone. Make sure it's timed good, bro. Make sure it's timed good. You don't want the reverb or the delay effects to take over the mix. You just don't want that, because you're just gonna ruin everything, bro. You're gonna ruin everything. So boom, so that's the processing of the vocals. Everything else, I believe, is pretty straightforward. It's just finding good sounds and panning them and just making sure they're balanced. Again, this doesn't have anything on it. Didn't need it. I don't think I did anything with this either. It didn't need it. This one, it's on 14. It didn't need it. Oh wait, no, I did. My bad. I jumped too ahead of myself. It has comeback hit on it. All it is a delay. You can put this cheap tape delay effect on it. Anything that gives you an analog, warm, saturated feel, tape delays and your tape saturators, your analog consoles, run it through, bro. Just trust me, run it through, especially on the mix bus. I didn't do it for this one, but I usually run my mixes through like an NLS channel or an NLS bus, and it kind of like mimics like as if you're running the processing through analog gear. Because everything is inbox and digital, you don't get that vintage feeling unless you run it through things that mimic or emulate that. You want that type of stuff. Look into Waves plugins, look into UAD plugins, look into Arteria plugins, because they have really good analog consoles and emulators for tape, echo, saturation. Sauce right there. I'm trying to tell you, this is just NLS and it sounds really good when I throw it on there, but eventually I'm investing in better analog emulated gear, because when you make these type of vintage samples, when you run it through, I'm telling you, bro, it just sound beautiful. So that's some extra sauce right there. But back to the processing of everything, and one last thing that I think is good and important to know is any pitch shifting plugins, any of those go crazy, bro. I'm telling you, they go crazy, because it's like, it says the mode is in transient. I don't know what that means, but it really feels like to me that the valleys, the sustain after the transient, like if you don't know anything about audio engineering, whatever, it's gonna sound like I'm talking gibberish. But like when the sound first plays, you have the higher peaks, and then after that is the valley, right? When I use Sound Shifter from Waves, it feels like the valleys get stretched a little bit, and the timing is kind of like played with a little bit, and it just seems like all the sounds in the melody just glue together differently. So like if I turn it off, that is not in key, but it's cool though. You get the point. It's not in key, but you get the point. So, but the main thing here is that this key works. Don't get me wrong, the key works. It's fine. But I'm gonna play. It's up to. Yeah, it's up to. I'm gonna play with the sound shifter one time. You see how instantly it just feels like the melody itself is thicker, like the sample itself is thicker, and it has more voicing to it. And in fact, if you go here, I think you can play with the voicing. Oh no, you can't. You can mess with the frequency. You can mess with the sense to detune it a little bit, play around with that, which that's actually good to do. I wish I would have did that. But anyway, it just sounds like I'm gonna A and B it real quick. Like it just, I don't know. Maybe it's just my ears, but it feels like it stretches everything out, and it just has like a weird way of having everything just generically like bleed in together. Like it just feels like it just mushes everything together beautifully. So that's some sauce. I think most people are using Elastic or either Sound Shifter. I think it's called Elastic V2. I don't know, but look it up, bro. Look it up. Trust me, just look it up. I think Elastic is better, but it costs a pretty penny. I ain't there yet, so I got Wave Sound Shifter. It does me justice anyway, so it's cool. As far as the master go, when you're making samples, I usually don't have the soft clipper on, but I made a whole beat, so that's why it's there. Turn that bad boy back on. I could get into these variations I have here at the end. All it is that's being ran through. Where's that? The only thing I'm adding is Love Filter. Give it that washed out underwater feel. And I'm gonna play it in a second for you. And this is an emulator of the Moog on box like chorus pedal that they have on some of their synths that they have. I can't remember which ones have it, but it emulates that pedal, and you have all these crazy different effects you can have for your flanger, your chorus, and yeah, it goes crazy. That's some sauce for you right there. You hear that like it sounds damn near like an airplane in the background or something. Like that's that chorus, bro, going crazy. Or actually it's flange, I think. But yeah, it's going crazy. So there you go. That's sauce for y'all. And that's pretty much it. That's how you put together a good vintage R&B-ish sample right there. And I'm gonna play the full beat as the outro, man. Again, I thank y'all for sticking around. Hope y'all learned something. Let me know in the comment section, man, what y'all learned or what y'all wanted me to cover a little bit more of. And yeah, y'all boys stay tuned, man. Y'all stay tuned.